But they pretty much talked with all the Jasons. You have Steve Dash from Part 2. And you actually, Warrington Gillette, he has a lot of guts because for those who don't know, Warrington Gillette said that he was Jason. He played Jason in Part 2. Oh, I played Jason. All he did was play Jason in one scene with makeup where he jumped out through a window and grabbed Amy Steele. One scene. And Steve Dash played Jason with the sack on for the rest of the movie. And Warrington Gillette kept taking credit. It's not on the documentary or the DVD, but there's a funny story how they met at a convention. It's like Steve Dash got a picture. It's like, wait a minute, this other guy says he played Jason. And Steve Dash went up to Warrington Gillette and said, who the fuck do you think you are? Because he's a New Yorker. Who the fuck do you think you are taking my picture? I don't play fucking Jason. They threw your ass through a fucking window and you were too fucking scared to do it. You know, I just really bitched out the guy. And even here, you can tell Steve Dash has no harmony with Warrington Gillette. To talk about how basically they needed Steve Dash because the other guy said he could do stunts and he really couldn't. But Steve Dash, I mean, it was cool to listen to him because he seems very humbled by the fans. He just seems like a sweet guy. I'm just making sure I don't miss anything. That's why I write notes, because I have a shitty memory. But then you have Richard Brooker. I know he mentioned something about how Stan Winston, they had come up with the original mask. I guess it was the original mask that wasn't a hockey mask, because the guy says that they didn't like it, and then they opted for the hockey mask. And of course, everybody tries to take credit for the hockey mask. Ted White from Part 4, the final chapter. How he had disagreements with director Joseph Zito. They touch on the girl, and they actually have the interview with the girl, and the scene in the lake where she gets stabbed through it, and how it was very cold. She was almost getting hypothermia, and Ted White was pissed off, saying, "You put some fucking clothes on her," and had a fight with the director. And it was also funny. Ted White really did not like Corey Feldman. Said, "I really hated that kid. You know, there were many times I wanted to just bring him over and give him a spanking." Like, you know, he really didn't like him. He's like, yeah, bad, you know, terrible kid. Which I thought was pretty funny. You had Dick Wyand and Tom Morter. Dick Wyand played Roy, the paramedic, in Part 5. Tom Morter was the... who was he? I mean, he was the guy who was actually in the Jason Garment. And, like, Dick Wyand... he was talking about, well, wait a minute, I could play Jason. I mean, you got two different guys playing Jason. That won't work. But, you know, I guess he really wanted to play. And they're like, no, Tom Morter's a stuntman. Let him do it. And like Dick Wyand had a head, which he called Dickhead. This is Dickhead. Because apparently, I guess in the original script, that Jason, you know, Roy, was going to get his head cut off. But then they changed it to him falling onto the spikes. And then, of course, you have Kane Hodder. You have Ken Kirshner. You have, of course, C.J. Graham. Can't forget him from Part 6. And also you have Derek Mears, who just seems like a very nice guy. Seems like a big fan of the series. Very humbled by it. But also he talked about how a little bit of his thinking was Rambo from First Blood for Jason, and he even says, like, you know, I read online, oh, what the fuck, is Jason going to have a bandana? And even Derek Mears like, no, not that, it's just get my kept to thinking. I thought that was it was cool, plus hell, anytime Rambo's mentioned, I'm fine with it. But yeah, it was really good. It's like 45 minutes of all the Jasons being interviewed, which was cool. Some of the other stuff you have on the second disc, you have the final cuts, which is extended interviews with the directors, like Sean Cunningham, of course, about how they had done family films, and hey, let's make a horror movie. They had the title, but they didn't have a plot, but this title sold, people bought it. Weirdly enough, Steve Miner is absent, and he did Part 2 and Part 3, and I have no idea why. Maybe he's too ashamed for the Day of the Dead remake. Vegetarian zombie! Unbelievable. What the fuck, Steve Miner? What's the fuck? I mean, he's interviewed on this, like, the book, but he's not in the documentary. I have no idea why. It's, I thought it was pretty stupid. I mean, what's the guy's fucking problem? Why is Steve Miner having to bug up his ass? You know? He did Day of the Dead remake. I don't think, you know, nothing's worse than that. So fucking talk about Friday the 13th, dude. Jeez, guys. If people think they're better, you know. I don't know. But you have interview with Joseph Zito and who directed part 4 about how he had done The Prowler, and they looked at it and they go, oh wow, you know, we'd be proud to call this a Friday the 13th movie, and if we do another one, we'll give you a call. And like him making the film a little bit, and how one of the things they wanted for Jason to get killed was like a microwave, smash a microwave, or stick Jason's head in the microwave and have Jason's head explode. And Josie's like, that's such a stupid idea, but people were thinking of it. But of course they got the machete, part 4. They have a part 5 directed from part 5, and it was very disappointing. And I don't mean the interview, I just mean the fact that they didn't talk with the guy a lot. I don't know why. I mean, Danny Steinmann, I mean, he seems like a colorful, he might be a sleazy guy because maybe he did pornos, but interviews I've heard of this guy, he just seems very funny, very truthful, and, you know, a no bullshit type of guy. His commentary for part 5 with the 2 actors is really entertaining to watch. They only give him like 4 minutes, which is stupid. Barely enough to talk of anything. And what I love about him is that he'll say something completely stupid, right? It's like, well, I figured Jason was, you know, a porno guy. You know, he liked watching the porn, or, you know, he, you know, would get ready and, you know, get his rocks off, and, you know, he'd be very straight faced, and he says, and you know I'm fucking with you, right? You know I'm fucking with you. I'm not really serious. He did an interview with the guys at Dead Pit. He talked about how, you know, I forgot what it was he was talking about, but he also said, oh, by the way, I don't fuck with you. You know, I'm not serious. That's what I love about him. The guy, he seemed pretty humbled by it too, and he just seemed like a very fun guy to be around. I think that's why, you know, maybe women are like, oh, you know, I read in the book, oh, he seems sleazy, but the guy is like probably one of those, hey, how's it going, baby? Doesn't mean harm. It's just that's how he is. I don't know. I just had fun with this guy. But they don't give him much to talk. Like 4 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm sure he had a lot more to say than 4 fucking minutes. Tom McLaughlin, who did part 6, probably one of my favorite because I like that guy, Tom McLaughlin. I love Jason Lives. Part 6 is one of my favorites. But also, I mean, he's just very down to earth, and seems like he has a lot of passion for it. Notice that, you know, it's part 6, so let's have some fun with it. Really interesting story where he talks about how later on he had done movies about serial killers. He had to do research about how, you know, he would ask a guy on death row or something like that, and he's like, well, what were you thinking when you did this? And the guy said, I thought it was Jason. And Tom McLaughlin goes, oh shit. Oh really? And he's like, yeah, it was Jason. And that sort of fucked with them. And then there was another one where there was a psychologist that says, did you dread one of these Fridays? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, well, I mean, I'm glad you guys did that because we actually, you know, I treat people, and I treat these kids, and we have them dress up as Jason with the mask and have them take out their anger. And just, you know, Tom McLaughlin telling me this is like, it's so weird, I believe it, and it's so scary. Unbelievable. But then you have the interview with John Carl Buechler talking about Kane Hodder, and, you know, as Effrey has said a couple of times, John Carl Buechler says, they raped my movie. Which they did. I mean, you see the footage, which it's on the box set. It's probably on the Part 7 special edition, but I don't have it. But I have the box set. It's on YouTube, I'm sure. Friday the Part 7 deleted gore, deletes. It's so great makeup effects, and they really did rape that movie. And about how he fought with this associate producer who said that the look of Jason, you know, when they unmasked and that great Jason look, the girl, the associate producer, says, oh, it looks like a fraud. You can't do that. I veto it. So John Carlo Buechler did it anyway. And of course, it's a classic scene. But then the ending with the father, and you know, it looks like he just has some dirt on his face. John Carlo Buechler says that wasn't how it's supposed to be. But the associate producer, that girl, was pissed off. I got above her head and did, you know, the face of Jason, that she put her foot down and I wasn't able to do it. And